What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Thursday, June 13th, 2024, and we are back with another midday stream. It's been a few days since I did my last midday stream, but I've already told you why I did not do a midday stream for the first few days. And I think I might actually like that structure that way. Every day doesn't need to be a midday stream. I can mix it up a little bit, but I'm glad that people are here so far. We currently have 48 people in the chat. I hope y'all are all doing well, as am I. But if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit that share button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. Shout out to the people over on Patreon. Shout out to the members over here, everyone who sends me stories and follows me on the various social media platforms. I appreciate you all. So last week, I actually hinted that I was going to be doing a live stream about this topic this week, and here we are today. But before I get into everything, let me give a shout out to those who are here so far. We have Dimpleface, Denise, Profess the Film Fan, Savion Draco Zero, Jerry Bedford, Joseph Washington, and Black First, Second, and Third X. Shout out to everybody that is here and everybody that will be coming in. And Iron will shout out to you as well. And Arius Oretz, you're going to have to correct me because I know I messed your name up. Forgive me. Malcolm Robinson and Lakeisha, who is here all so far. So, yes, we are going to be talking about the situation that happened about 2 weeks ago, when there was a graduation that happened at this high school in Wisconsin called Baraboo High School, where this man ran up on the stage and disrupted not only his daughter's graduation, but also the people graduate from that school, to go and confront this superintendent whose name is Rainey Briggs, who happens to be a black man, to basically attack him, all because he didn't want his daughter to shake his hand. Now, of course, I'm glad that I waited to talk about this because more details have come out since then. Everyone was really going crazy over the video itself, which I'm going to play first, and then we're going to go into some more details, breaking the story even further down. But again, please go ahead and hit the like button and hit the share button as well while you're at it, so we can direct views to this situation right here. So here's the video right here, but before I get into the actual video, let me read what the post actually says. Superintendent Rainey Briggs was attacked during the Baraboo High School graduation. The unnamed attacker was a quote-unquote father who didn't want his graduating daughter to shake the hand of a black man. So he ruined her moment. That's racism for you in 2024. Hashtag graduation. Hashtag fight. All right, let me run it back a little bit. By the way, this right here, the person who I'm hovering over, that's Rainey Briggs right there. That's the school superintendent. He's like the top dog. He's a top boss. So this is somebody else, but pay attention to this person right here and watch what happens right before she gets up to the point where she has to shake his hand. Look at that. So it's already started. She barely got done shaking the hand of the first person before her father, who is this man right here, gets up and prepares to try to escort this guy off.
Oh, excuse me. Where's Brendan?
Get away from me, bro.
No, don't.
Hey, no. Hey, you need to get. Hey. I don't care.
She looks so embarrassed. And she should be. I know I would. But see how fast he did it, though? This guy practically jumped up on the stage, probably skipping the steps leading up to the stage just to get to this guy. It sounds like this is why I wish Spidey was in here, because I know he's from Wisconsin, but I don't think he's probably available when I do my midday streams. If this was in the evening, he would definitely be able to speak more to this because he lives in Wisconsin. But yeah, like, see how fast he got up there? Like, real fast, and just kind of pushed the superintendent just off to the side. I wish the camera could have followed that, because the camera just kind of stayed stationary. But you have to go based off of what the audience is, how their audience is responding. And that's when you can tell it went from a verbal confrontation to a physical one.
That way, Michael. No, no.
And the superintendent walked back like, he like his suit was barely touched. Exactly. I was gonna dimple face. I was gonna ready to ask the same thing. Where was security at? Where was security at when this happened? Because this guy could have had a weapon on him. You don't know what he could have had.
Where's Brendan? Who's that?
Now that if you didn't hear what they were saying, the lady asked whose dad was that. They trying to figure out who's the parent. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious because I'm sure there were other people who went up before her and it didn't happen with them. But the minute it happened, when she came up and he came up, I think that would have been the easiest way to confirm that that was her dad.
Who's up?
See, that right there would piss me off because now this dude completely threw off the flow of the program. Like, it's a certain flow that a graduation should have, and he completely threw it off by doing what he did in that moment. He turned around and made that about him. He made it about his daughter all he wants, but the thing of the matter is, if you had a problem with this dude, you should have took care of this prior to this or even after this. It was so I guess imperative for him to actually get up and get in this man's face just so his daughter wouldn't shake this man's hand. So that's the video right there. I'm sure, like I said, many of you have already seen it. But at the time, we didn't know what this man's name was. We just knew that there was this white man. He ran up and confronted this black man who happened to be the school superintendent to stop him from shaking his daughter's hand. We didn't know what his name was. But you all know the ex, I can't call them Twitter sleuths anymore because it's no longer Twitter, but the detectives of X was not about to let that go unspared because they went and found out who this man was. I'm telling you, the people on X, when they want to find something out, they will turn into a lot of these 3-letter government agencies. So this person wrote up here, well, one thing about a small town and a Facebook post, they gonna find the Baraboo High School parent, and his name is Matthew Eddy. So this is him right here. This is the man who ran up on that stage and decided he was going to attack this black man, the superintendent at that graduation, all because he didn't want his daughter to shake his hand. But not to be outdone, this is the filing date, against him for what he did. It says filed on June 3rd, 2024, which was the date that video was posted. Civil case, open case, class code description for harassment and restraining order, responsible official, and branch ID number. So now the people know who he is. They know slightly what he's about and all of that good stuff. And they found out about him through a Facebook post. That's how they were able to find out who this man was. So now that we got through that, now let's get into the only article. Well, it's actually 2 articles. One of them pertaining to this, but another one pertaining to something else. So this is posted on June 11, 2024. It says, Wisconsin dad describes drama with his daughter. So here's where the white-splaining is going to kick in, y'all. And wait till y'all hear what he has to say, just in case y'all were unaware of what he had to say and why he did or why he felt compelled to do what he did. The Wisconsin father who shoved aside a school administrator to stop him from shaking his daughter's hand at graduation told police it was payback for a perceived slight, apparently after the teen girl got into trouble. So you decided to wait until the day of graduation to go and confront the school superintendent, who, by the way, probably had nothing to do with whatever trouble your daughter was in, but you decided to go after him because he was the only black face up there. And you chose to do that on the graduation day of all days to go and do this when you could have easily done this before then, or had this conversation in a professional setting like two grown adults. But no, let me just go ahead and embarrass my daughter and the rest of the graduating class and myself and my family by going up on this stage in the middle of the graduation and pushing this man to the side to confront him like we some kids. This also goes back to what I've always said when age doesn't define maturity, because this man, as it says in the next statement, is 49. He's almost 50. It goes on to say that Matthew Eddy told police Baraboo High School Superintendent Rainey Briggs, quote unquote, rolled his eyes during a disciplinary hearing in which his daughter was facing expulsion, according to video of an interview taken moments after the shoving incident. My question is to this: what did your daughter do for her to almost get expelled? What's the backstory behind that? He goes on to say, I did not want him to be able to shake her effing hand because he does not deserve it from her. After all the ish she went through in this district, Eddy told police in the video. Now, before I go any further into the article, I'm going to pause it right here and I'm going to bring up the two videos that he spoke in when he was being interrogated. But first, let me read the captions. It's seconds after the dad interrupted graduation by pushing the superintendent, Matthew Eddy told an admin officer he knew what would happen. So he knew what was going to happen before he even got up on that stage to do what he did. But he did it anyway.
Because he does not deserve it. You can't hop up on the stage right in front of graduation. Like, you obviously knew this was going to happen. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm going to need them to get some better sounding cameras because these sound terrible. Forgive me, y'all. This is not from my end.
So, I mean, his plan? Yeah. I walked out when he was going to speak. I get that, but you obviously knew your daughter was going to go on stage. She's going to interact with him. I didn't want him to be able to shake her fucking hand because he does not deserve it from her.
All right, so there you have it right there. He said, oh, loosely translated right here, it says, oh yeah, for sure. Didn't want him to be able to shake her effing hand. I'm glad they got transcripts because that camera quality sounds horrible. I'm not even going to play the second video because the sound is horrible. I don't know why it sounds like that. But anyway, back to the article. He said he rolled his eyes when I brought up the fact the same thing happened to her and it pissed me off. He said without elaborating on specifics of the incident. Yeah, see, he's not going into too much detail, and that's making people question the validity of his story. Like, okay, you say this happened. You said your daughter faced expulsion. You said that the superintendent rolled his eyes. You felt slighted because of it, and you decided to confront him that he didn't deserve to shake her hand, but you're not going into too much details. Like, what was she up for expulsion for? Like, he's giving little, like, bits and pieces, a lot of holes. There's more holes in the story than Swiss cheese. Is that she was expelled for doing the same thing that was done to her, and nothing was done to the previous people. So it sounds like it was a group incident. Allegedly. Eddy was caught on camera leaping onto the stage as his daughter was collecting her diploma at the Baraboo High School graduation ceremony back in May, then grabbing Briggs and pushing him aside, saying, I don't want her touching him. In a police report filed after the incident, Eddy said he and his daughter have had past issues with Rainey and dislike him and wanted to prevent Rainey from having the satisfaction of shaking her hand. His statements to police heard in the video of their interview lined up with that story, but at times seemed contradictory. I'm not aware of any allegations of Dr. Briggs doing anything to your daughter specifically, a school administrator told Eddy during the interview. Oh, look at this, y'all. Look at this right here, y'all. Listen to this. No, it wasn't him specifically. Eddie replied before explaining that Briggs infuriated him by rolling his eyes. So, so wait a minute. Timeout. Flag on the play. Blow the whistle. You got mad at the superintendent because he rolled his eyes, but he wasn't the one that was directly responsible for whatever it is that you and your daughter was going through, but you decided to confront him because he rolled his eyes. Are y'all hearing this? So because this black man rolled his eyes, by your account, you were more mad at that than the person who you should be taking your so-called anger out on. See, I knew it was some holes in this story. It's funny too, because I was actually in someone's chat today and we were talking about Jonathan Majors and some other stuff. And I said, if a black man even slightly raises his voice, he's deemed as a threat. So apparently now we can add rolling our eyes as a threat as well. You cannot make this up. Eye rolling hurt your feelings that bad that you got up on stage and blocked this man from shaking your daughter's hand? I wish I could be making this up, but this is a direct quote from this man. At another point, Eddie claimed, I didn't touch him until he touched me. Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out again. When we looked at the video and you went up on that stage, you grabbed that man by his arm. He didn't touch you. Like we all watched the video when he climbed and he leaped on that stage like the toad he is, he grabbed that man by his arm. That was the first physical contact, and you scurried him off to the side. So now you sitting up here lying like we just didn't see it. See, there it is, right? Here's the picture. There it is. Look at that's him. That's his hand. That's the superintendent's arm. He didn't touch you first. The lies they tell, even when it's right in front of our face. At another point, I already read that part. Police concluded Eddie's shove was premeditated, according to the report, which it was, which Eddie appeared to corroborate in the interview video. You can't hop up on the stage right in front of graduation, a police officer told Eddie, like you obviously know what's going to happen. Oh yeah, for sure, the father said, before telling police he only had a quote-unquote little bit of remorse for how the incident might affect his daughter. Whoa. Time out again. This man literally could give a damn about what his daughter was going through. He said he might have a little bit of remorse for how it would affect his daughter, which means in that moment, he didn't give a damn how his daughter felt. It was about how he felt. This man allegedly rolling his eyes hurt his feelings so bad that he had to get up there and confront this dude and damn his daughter and her graduation. I'm going to get out what I have to today, on this day, on your graduation, on your peers' graduation, in front of the school, in front of these parents, in front of you, in front of the students, in front of the faculty, the staff, and anyone else who's watching, because it's all about me. Jerome, that's the thing. He's not even sorry. He's not even sorry. He didn't say anywhere he apologized. He says, I had a little bit of remorse. He says, I will be embarrassed about this as soon as I walk out of here, he said. Eddie was charged with disorderly conduct after the incident, and Briggs secured a restraining order against him. After the incident, it was speculated that the shove may have been racially motivated. Eddie, who was white, clearly targeted Briggs, the only black individual on stage during the ceremony. Race was not brought up during the interview with police. It should have been, but then again, with the lies he already told, he probably would have lied about that too. So there's that article. Now, before I show the last thing pertaining to this story, let me show y'all this. So we're going to pivot a little bit from this story, but we're still staying in this same district. So here's a picture right here that was posted on the New York Times back in November of 2018, where we read the headline: students who made apparent Nazi salute in photo won't be punished. And this school is in Wisconsin. And guess where? At the Baraboo School District. The same district that this high school where the dad jumped up on that stage and got into Rainey Briggs' face about him not wanting to shake his daughter's hand. Now, I looked up to see when Rainey Briggs actually became the superintendent. He didn't become the school superintendent until 2021. So this was before he became the superintendent, which tells me that this area has a very staunch anti-Black sentiment about itself. And it says that they won't be punished. Now, these are some high school students. So they're most likely already graduated and they're out into the world, and people who like maybe live in Wisconsin might have mingled and come in contact with them and didn't even know they were in this picture. You couldn't even identify them because they don't have their names listed. Or anywhere else in the world. Shoot, they could be working with you right now as we speak. So that's just a little bit of a backstory as it pertains to the story. Now, let me get into the last one. And ironically, Pixie Glam brought it up and I already had it up here. This part right here actually made me feel a little bit good about this story, because we all know that when it comes to situations like this, the worst thing that a Black person can do is simply just forgive the person who did them wrong. Well, plot twist. In this case, Rainey Briggs, the superintendent who was done wrong, will not accept the dad's apology. Honestly, the dad didn't even really apologize, so really there's nothing to accept. So on TMZ, it says Wisconsin superintendent won't accept dad's apology after storming grad stage. The Wisconsin high school official who got shoved aside by the father of a graduating senior is speaking out on the incident, saying an apology here is too little, too late. Superintendent Rainey Briggs, who was on stage at Baraboo High School during the now infamous graduation ceremony, told media outlets attorneys for Matthew Eddy contacted him Monday with an informal apology from the dad. The key words there is informal. But it sounds like it didn't go over well. Briggs told Daily Mail an apology just doesn't make things go away. He says Eddy caused a lot of harm by rushing the stage and physically preventing Briggs from shaking his daughter's hand. As we reported, video shows Eddy waiting near the stage for his daughter to walk across before bolting over to Briggs and shoving him away as his daughter approached with her diploma. At first, some believe race was a factor here because Briggs is Black and Eddy is white, but there's been no evidence of that thus far, and Eddy told cops his beef with Briggs was because he disliked Briggs over past issues involving the school and his kid. Again, I'm trying to figure out how rolling your eyes is the issue. Like, my thing is, you didn't confront the people that actually had an issue with your daughter, which begs the question, what they should have asked, and if y'all really wanted to find out if this was a race thing or not, find out who was the one or ones ethnicity-wise, race-wise, who had an issue with the daughter. If they were white, then this definitely was racially motivated. without a shadow of a doubt. And even if they don't, and even if they couldn't find that out, I'm still leaning in on that too. Briggs says he's unsure if his race was a factor now that the dust is settled, telling NBC News and DM that's a question for Eddie, though Briggs adds the optics don't look good. Remember, Briggs ended up getting a temporary restraining order against Eddie, and the father has also been charged with disorderly conduct as a result of all of this. The restraining order bars Eddie from contacting Briggs directly, so he can't legally apologize even if he wanted. But it sounds like there's no use now. He got a restraining order so bad that he can't even apologize to him even if he tried. Something to really take into consideration, black people, when they try to do the apology thing, get that restraining order. That way they can't try it. Just in case you feel like you want to accept their apology, that way legally on paper they can't try to issue you one. B myself said another thing, it ain't genuine. It really isn't genuine because he didn't give an apology. Remember, he said he felt a little bit remorse. That's not an apology. And even if he did give an apology, like you can't really apologize for something like that. And then on top of that, apologizing to the superintendent is just one person you should be apologizing to. Not only you have to apologize to him, you got to apologize to your daughter and to that graduating class and to your family for embarrassing, just being a straight up embarrassment. But before I go ahead and drop the link, let me go ahead and acknowledge the super chat that came in. Shout out to Savion. He says that school clearly has a history of racial issues. Clearly.
It's busy up here. Woo! I'm rich! I got money.
Shout out to Savion for the super chat. But if anyone would like to come up and express their concern, well, not concern, but have something to say as it pertains to this, I just dropped the link right there in the chat. Probably keep it open to about maybe about 20 minutes because I actually got to head out. I actually got to record the last episode of the We Fall Back series. As y'all know, the last episode will be airing on next Wednesday, which is Juneteenth. King Colby, what's going on?
Not much. How are you, man?
I'm doing good.
Good. All right. So I heard about this before you brought it to our attention and everything. Here's the thing that gets me every time when it comes to this Nazi stuff. I thought they were the enemy. They make all kinds of media and everything, whether it's video games, movies, whatever, and they make it very clear that, hey, Nazis are the enemy, but this is the shit they do. I find that interesting. So is Nazis a scapegoat thing, or is it some easy cherry picking shit? Like, why the hell did they do that? Also, dude, not that I care about the daughter or whatever, I don't give a shit, but he didn't give a damn about her that day. He really didn't. The father, he didn't give a goddamn about that. That's crazy.
He didn't because he even expressed it. He even said it. He said that he only felt a little bit remorse for it, and that's about it. Yeah, at that moment, it was about his feelings. I'm thinking that the way that he was breaking it down, that the superintendent did something personally to his daughter that affected him, but all he did was roll his eyes at the situation at hand from what somebody else did, but you decided to take it out on him. So I'm like, the rolling of the eyes, that's what made you mad?
Right. That's what got you that mad? Damn. Like, those types seem like someone is literally getting up, pissing in their cereal or something and force them to eat it. There's something wrong with them. It is. I'm sorry. There's something very wrong with them. Man. Anyway, hey, thanks for elaborating on this and everything, and I'm gonna go on ahead. Thanks for having me.
No problem. All right, shout out to King Kobe. Next up, we got Xavier. What's going on?
Hey, Brother Torian, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, B1, brother. I was hoping that you would cover this case because it really pissed me off seeing this, especially the fact that that particular school has a history of racist nonsense going on over there, and um, I don't buy this for 1 second. Like the story, the dad was saying about it not being racial or whatever. I don't buy it for a second because when you think about it, that guy, the superintendent, he seems to be the only black faculty member there amongst
Yeah.
PC people, and I think another thing that kind of disturbed me watching that whole thing was that even his colleagues or so-called colleagues didn't step in to even try and protect him or stop what was happening. They just kind of stood aside and watched.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
noticed
I
that
thought
too.
that was really, I thought that was really disturbing because I mean, if this is someone you work with, you should aren't you obligated to at least stop crazy people from attacking them at random like that? And it just didn't. It didn't. It was very weird. Honestly, I would advise that man to move. Just get out of there because it's not even safe for people, black people in general, to be the only. I never want to be the only black person in the sea of a sea
Yeah.
of whiteness, so to speak. It's generally not. It usually doesn't end well because I think Phil Scott says it best that usually these dub S demons they tend to get more emboldened when they're in overwhelming numbers. So if you're the only one there, they tend to have more because they feel like maybe they have the law on their side or whatever, or they have power in numbers, and they're obviously cowards. So honestly, I just advise this gentleman to move. Last thing is to what the previous caller just said about America loving Nazis or these why they big up Nazis the way they do. People tend to forget that during World War II, there was still segregation in America. Soldiers were getting lynched in their uniforms,
Mm.
even during that Nazi era. So it shouldn't surprise most people that this kind of thing exists, especially when you also consider the fact that the Nazis, well, I don't know, I haven't done too much research into it, but from what I understand, the Nazis took cues from how to treat or how to handle the Jewish population in Germany from things they saw during like Jim Crow in America. So that's something that I think was I saw that on a video somewhere, and that's really an interesting thing. So it shouldn't surprise anyone that there's a Nazi movement that's strong in America. But that's really all I wanted to say. And I hope this superintendent. I really hope he sues this guy because I think he has grounds for doing that. Just sue the guy for whatever amount of money he's worth and be done with it. Fuck his apology or non-apology. But yeah, thanks for bringing me up, brother. Be one.
Be one. All right, next up we got Joseph Washington. What's going on?
Salute Tarian, salute to the chat room. I'm seeing this live and realizing that the dominant society creates hostile offsprings, either directly or indirectly. directly through training them through the system of WS, indirectly through ruined traumatic experience. And I would count this situation being one of them. Sometimes when traumatic things happen to children, it stays with them for a long time, and it's hardly, if ever, a possibility that they either, quote, get over it or recover from it.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if the daughter, like after this situation, like, you know, blows over, that they will ever be on speaking terms, because he put his own ego on the line just because of a gesture to ruin what is a once in a lifetime thing for her.
Yeah, definitely.
So
like I
it's
said,
like,
like I said, in that moment, it wasn't about her. It was about his feelings being hurt. He says, allegedly, he says that the superintendent rolled his eyes, and that is what made him mad because of the situation, even though he wasn't directly involved with what was going on. He just had to be there because of the proceedings. Like, he had to be there because of his position. But that's what pissed you off, not the actual person that was about to do the expelling. Yeah, that's why I said now we can throw on there eye rolling as being seen as threatening when it comes from us.
I was wondering if you saw Lisa Cabrera's live the day before yesterday on why, I forgot the title of it, but she was basically showing videos of these non-white / white immigrants upset about, you know, the status quo and the game that's being played among those that come over here and looking for, quote unquote, the American dream. It's almost like, you know, they want a taste of oppressing foundational Black Americans the way these ancestors of the dominant society did. And they're finding out that, you know, this is the new norm. Slowly but surely, not all of us are taking it on the chin. And if we do take it on the chin, we're swinging back harder.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I hope you do stream the Rally for Reparations live. I plan on going there, but unfortunately an emergency came up, so I won't be able to attend. But I hope to see whoever is live streaming that. I'll be in that chat room.
Yeah, I'll probably try to go live impromptu when it's going on, because it's going to be like, it's like, you know, it's a long, lengthy event. I'm not sure if you remember the last one, but the last one, it was like, it started at like 11. But here's the thing, it started at 11, but the bulk of the people was there by like 10. Like, we was out there in full force, and then it ran to about 4. So it's literally an all day event. So clearly I couldn't stream the entire thing, but I'll probably go on live, you know, to see and catch what I can, you know, while I'm there. But
I still want to catch some of that vibe, even if it's via through stream.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for having me up, though.
No problem. All right, the last person I'm bringing up is, hold on, before I get to that, shout out to Andre Wilson for the 10. He said, keep doing your thing. I appreciate it.
It's busy up here. Woo! I got money.
Denise said, if you can, Torian, live stream Afro and Black Alpha speeches. Those are actually the ones that I'm really looking forward to. I can't wait. I've actually been talking to Afro. Like, I actually spoke to him this morning because he was asking me, he was like, what barbers can I recommend in DC? So he got to make sure he look fresh when he get up on the stage. I said, I don't go to no barbers in DC. I said, mine is in Maryland. And I gave him the number of my barber. So hopefully he utilizes it. So yeah, those are the speeches I'm like looking forward to, and I hope to, you know, definitely stream when they go when they start to speak, but also some other stuff as well. So y'all might see me go live a couple of times on Saturday. And shout out to James Esther for subscribing to the channel. And the last person I'm gonna bring up is Jerome. What's going on?
Not much. This Cody was only sorry because he got caught in so many lies. Oh, this nigger's gonna hold me accountable, so I'm gonna shove him out the way. That's what he was really thinking. He was really saying it to himself. And then he want to sit his racist ass down. He want to sit his racist ass up there and play the stupid victim. You're not a victim. You only got sorry you got caught.
Well, I don't see how he wouldn't have gotten caught, because he is not like what he did was so subtle. He literally did it in front of everybody. So it's not like he could have been so covert with what he did. It was very out in the open. He just didn't care. And like I was reading, he didn't care about his daughter or anybody else. In that moment, he literally made it about him.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. I knew he was lying right there. And he said it was not about race. You know, yeah, Cody, if you want to believe that, I don't believe that. You're lying, because you know good and well that if we did something to you far less, like accidentally bumped into you with a cup of coffee in our hand and actually spilled a tiny bit on your shirt, you would go off on us, and you know it. I want to hear that stupid crap. Get out of here. He knows he's lying. He knows he's lying.
Definitely.
He knows he's lying, because if we did something minuscule to him, even if just somebody is staring at him or bumping into him by accident, he would just drop kick me to the floor, drop kick any of us black people to the floor, and laugh at us and tell us that we shouldn't have done that. Excuse me, it was an accident, and you have no remorse. That's the equivalent to you should have complied to the police. That's the equivalent of it. I see it right through a whole glass of water. And no, I don't forgive him. Just because I'm Christian doesn't mean a damn thing. I'm not gonna forgive these people until they make amends. No, I'm not doing it until they cut the check and do right by us black people. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. You expect us to forgive you, and yet when we do something far less severe, even if we don't do anything, even if we just look at you wrong a certain way, you get mad at us. You hold a grudge against us. We don't have to do a damn thing to them, Turian. I'm telling you, we don't have to do nothing to these people.
All right, Jerome.
They want us to love them.
All right, Jerome. I gotta let you go.
All right.
Thanks for coming up.
Tangent. I could rant all day. You're welcome.
All right. That was the last person to come up to speak on towards this topic. Shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out to Savion and Andre for contributing to the stream. We will be back on here later at 6 p.m. because, the stream I'm doing this evening, I was actually going to do tomorrow, but I can't do it tomorrow because I'm actually going to be out, and I don't know exactly what time I'm actually going to be back home. So I'm going to be doing that stream this evening, and that's going to be addressing those comments that Stephen A. Smith, or as I call him, Stephen A. for Asshole Smith, made as it pertains to Will Smith and the support that Will Smith has been receiving with the release of Bad Boys Ride or Die. So definitely be sure to come back here at 6 p.m. Eastern time, because that's going to be a very interesting discussion right there. And we actually going to segue that with something else that another failed individual had to say about Will Smith as well. So with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. We'll be back here at 6. Be safe and be one.